Hey guys, coming in another classic movie for you guys, and in this movie reviewing, I have definitely wanted to see this movie for a while. I will talk about the main reason why in a little bit, but this is one of those movies where it was, part of the Criterion collection, and I figured I might as well watch it for classic movies, and that movie is a movie that you probably have not heard of, because it's actually a British film, and the only way to watch it is actually from a Criterion or on Hulu, and that is the 1975 mystery drama classic Picnic at Hanging Rock. I was definitely really looking forward to this movie for several reasons, mainly because of The Leftovers, because Damien Lindelof had said that this is his main inspiration for season 2, with the story of the missing girls and everything. This is his main inspiration for that. Also, the fact that he doesn't reveal anything about, the departure is because of this movie, because, he just feels that it's better keeping things ambiguous, and I knew very well going into this movie how the ending was going to be. I'm not going to spoil that, obviously, but I knew very well what was going to happen in this movie going into it, and I didn't really care, because I don't think that's the point of the movie. Either way, I have to say that after watching Pink and Hang Rock, I was not prepared for this movie, I gotta say. I was not mentally prepared for this movie. I was not prepared with how emotional this was going to be. I was not prepared with how effective this was going to be, because Picnic at Hanging Rock is a moody, emotional roller coaster of a film that is just so profound and so different from many other films I've seen, and really just has so many deep messages with it, and there's so many things I could say about it. Let's get to the plot of Picnic at Hanging Rock, because that is definitely one of the best things about the movie. Now, the plot of the movie is pretty simple. Basically, we focus on these few girls who go to Appleyard College, which is a girls' private school in the year 1900, and basically on St. Valentine's Day, they are all going for a trip to Hanging Rock, basically. They're going to basically a picnic at Hanging Rock, pretty much, which is a local geological formation, and three girls decide to wander off, while on this trip, that being these girls we see, those girls that basically are wander off are, Miranda, their names are Miranda St. Clair, you have Irma Leopold, you have Marion Quaid, and then I think Edith Horton. They all go wander off, as well as this teacher who decides to keep watching them, obviously make sure they don't go too far, but basically they end up falling asleep at Hanging Rock, and three of them end up just, in this dreamlike coma. They just walk away, and the next thing we know, these three girls have disappeared. We don't know what's happened to them, and basically the rest of the movie is them trying to figure out what's happened to these girls, and eventually kind of come to the realization that they might not get the answers that they want, and that basically is the plot of Picnic at Hanging Rock. There's so many great things about this movie, though, that I definitely do want to talk about, but I gotta say, this is not really a movie based upon acting. Now, there are some amazing performances in this movie that I definitely do want to talk about, and some that stick out very well, but like I said, as terms of acting, this is not really a movie that's based upon that, and I'll talk about why. But, because I talk about acting first, with that said, just because my reviews tend to be that way, and that's just the formula I do, let's just talk about acting first. And there are some really great performances in this movie. It's not to say there aren't, especially, the really great characters, especially Louise Lambert as Miranda. She does a very good job. Now, this is the girl who decides to wander off. We don't get too much characterization with her character, but I feel like that's the point. It's supposed to be just a random girl who decides to wander off, and I think that was well done. At first I was going to complain about that, but this movie's not really about characterization. It's more just showing you this girl that decides to wander off, who I thought was basically the star of this movie and just dominated every scene she was in, was Rachel Roberts as Miss Appleyard. This is every scary teacher that you've ever had combined into one, because she really is so strict, she's so particular, she'll do whatever she can to make herself look innocent, she'll do whatever she can to cover things up, and I loved pretty much everything about her character. She was so great, but she also is so obsessed with the disappearance of these girls, and it's not just because of the fact that, she doesn't want to get in trouble or anything for taking them to Hanging Rock. It's also because she wants answers, and she's desperate for it, and she really did a great job with that. You can see the villainy in her, but you also see the desperateness of her. She'll do whatever she can to get answers, and she's not really getting them. I think she did a great job. I really love their character. She was fantastic, as well as Dominic Guard, and holy shit, this guy is Michael Fitzhubert. This is the guy that basically, he starts just observing these three girls, and kind of becomes a bit obsessed with them, and especially when they go missing, he kind of develops a crush on Miranda, and he wants wants to go find her, and the lengths that this guy goes to find her is pretty insane, definitely, but you understand why. I mean, obviously, this is someone that he wants to be with, he wants to know where she is, and he can't find her. I think he did a really great job. Definitely really did like his character. He definitely really stuck out to me as one of the best parts of this movie. He was really great. And then I'll say the other one that really stuck out is Margaret Nelson as Sarah. Such an incredible role. I'm not going to talk about all the shit that happens with her character because it really is insane what happens with her. I mean, really, the lengths that Miss Appleyard goes to Sarah. This is a girl that was with them and basically tells them everything that's going on, and she's been very affected by all of these girls' disappearances and possibly deaths as well. She just did an incredible job, especially in the last half of this movie. Holy shit, she was incredible, and a lot of this movie results in her not talking, and I'm not going to talk about why, but there was a big part of this movie, in the third act, that most of her amazing scenes, she's not even talking in, and she does an incredible job. I really love the direction they went with her character, and she really was incredible. But as far as that goes, that's really all I can say about the acting. Like I said, this is not a movie defined at all by acting. The acting's really great in this movie. It's just not really, one of the things that you watch this movie, you're like, oh yeah, this person was fantastic. I mean, yes, those 3 roles really stuck out to me, and, those 4 were really great. But this movie is not at all, an acting film. This is more of a mood piece, and I'll talk about why this movie is so great. If anything, the 3 things I can talk about are the directing, the writing, the cinematography, because those are the things that really make up this movie. The directing here by Peter Weir is just perfect. I think his directing here is fantastic. It's a very aesthetically pleasing film, definitely. I mean, it definitely, this is a big film that does rely on aesthetics, and I think it does a very good job of that. This is one of those movies where they show you a lot of images, and his tone in this movie, it's a very mysterious tone. You want to know what's going on. You want to know why you're seeing all these things, and a lot of this movie, a lot of these scenes seem like they don't really connect together, and I think he did a very good job with that, because the movie's not really supposed to be giving you any answers. This is not one of those movies. This is a movie where you're not going to get those answers you deserve, and I really do appreciate him for going with that tone, because the movie starts off very, very simply. These girls are going on a picnic trip. You think you know where it's going, and then towards the second half, you realize you have no idea where this movie is going, and you want to know where it's going, but you honestly never really get that answer. I think he did a great job with never really revealing what was fully going on, never revealing how this all was happening. I thought that was one of the best things of this movie. It totally stuck out to me, and like I said, his, directing was really fantastic here. The writing, though, is so good, because a big part of this movie, really for me, I think one of the biggest messages is that we might not get the answers we deserve, and how we demand answers. I mean, think about when a show concludes, or, even when we binge watch a TV show. Why do we binge watch said TV show? Because we want to get those answers when we're left on a cliffhanger. I mean, I've seen people go, get so upset about Orange is the New Black, season 4, episode 12. I don't know what happens in season 4, episode 12. Don't tell me what happens. I'm only on episode 3. Don't tell me what happens. But I've heard a lot of people say it's a huge cliffhanger, and then episode 13, it's just crazy, they need a new season now. That's just how our minds work. We want answers. That's just how we work. And this movie really does play with our minds and saying that sometimes, we don't always get those answers that we want. And I think they did a really great job with the writing, and the way that everyone's deeply affected by this tragedy of these girls just disappearing, wanting to know what's going on, and the different ways that they react to the girl's disappearance is very well handled. I love the way that was done. The writing here really was fantastic, and I really love that. And a lot of people say this movie's very dreamlike. I don't see it that way. I don't think the movie's supposed to be dreamlike at all. I think the only reason people say the movie is dreamlike is because they don't fully understand everything that's going on. The movie's not meant to be dreamlike at all. I think the movie's really meant to be more of just a moody piece. This is a movie that really is done by emotions. This is an emotional film, and that's the best way I can put it, because I don't really know how to describe a lot of what's going on in this movie. I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of things in the movie I don't really understand, and I think I'm going to have to go back a couple times and watch it. Now, I feel it's an intentional choice. I really think intentionally they wanted to have a bunch of things that don't really make sense, because the movie in general is about not getting those answers. And that's something I really enjoyed, that really stuck out to me. The writing here by Cliff Green is very well done. It is based on a book, which I haven't read, but the writing by Cliff Green, he did a great job writing this movie, definitely really well done. The writing here is just so many great scenes in the movie that I don't want to spoil, and I'm not going to talk about, but they're so well done. The way the characters react to the girl's disappearance and the different lengths that they go, and also the theories that they come up with. Some of them are pretty crazy, but some of the theories they come up with are very well handled. Some of them don't even believe that the girl's disappearance. disappear. Some of them just think they wandered off or whatever. I mean, really, you have no idea where this is going. You really have no idea what's going to happen, and there was a direction I thought the movie was going to take, and I'm so happy it didn't take that direction because it would have been so cliched, and it never took that direction. I thought that's what the movie was going to do, and it didn't do that, and I'll talk about what I mean in the spoilers, but I really did enjoy that. I thought that was definitely well handled, and the writing, like I said, is very well done here. However, I think the thing that sticks with us the most after watching this movie is the cinematography, because the cinematography in this movie is the reason why I think people say this movie is dreamlike, and the reason why I think people say that this movie feels like you're in someone's dreams, because the way that Russell Boyd does the cinematography in this movie really is playing with your mind. I mean, there are tons of scenes in this movie where they'll show you a bunch of flashing images, and you don't really know how they all connect together, and it's really well done the way that's handled. And the cinematography here, it's just such a detail-oriented film. You know, there's certain things you're gonna see a lot of times, like that rock kind of becomes its own character. That rock is kind of a symbol of those answers that we want. We want to know what's happened on that rock. What is this rock all about? And the mystery of the rock in general is really interesting. I like the way they kind of made its own character. I thought that was really interesting as well. The cinematography here, I really enjoyed. Really incredible overall. I've really never seen a movie quite like this, you know, in quite the style that this is. Even a David Lynch film, I've never really seen something quite like Picnic at Hanging Rock, which is one of the reasons why I think it's a British film, because you can never do this with an American film. An American film, people would be pissed off, people would be walking out, people would say that was the worst piece of shit they've seen. I mean, that's just how we are. Like I said, as humans, we want answers, and especially the way this movie ends, I could really see a lot of people frustrated, and it really does make sense why they never released this film to American audiences, because it's just not an American film. It's not. It's a completely British film. It's not at all something that Americans would respond to, and it doesn't at all go in the direction you think it's going to. I am very happy it didn't. I liked it took a different direction. I liked it was unexpected, and I think that's one of the reasons why the movie was as good as it was, and one of the reasons why I love the movie as much as I did. The score here is one of the things that really resonates with me. It's a very creepy, eerie score that's played throughout this movie. It's very mysterious, it's just very thrilling, and really just adds to this film. There are so many great scenes with that score playing, and there's a lot of tension in this movie. This is one of those movies where it feels like there's gonna be a lot of hidden tension, and the tension's kind of always there, but it never actually happens. And again, it's pretty cool the way they did that, because in other movies I'd say that's a problem. But here, it makes sense why it's not a problem, because that's kind of the point. The point is that you're thinking that this movie's going to be, you know, where you're going to get those answers and you're going to get that thrilling climax, and doesn't exactly happen in this movie. And that's something I thought was really cool. I thought that was definitely very well handled. I absolutely loved the score of this movie. It was creepy. It made me feel very, you know, just it was very unnerving, and I think it was really well handled the way the score was done. It really made me feel very uncomfortable, and I'm gonna say this is not a very comfortable film. This is not a movie you're watching and like, oh yeah, this is fun. It's not one of those movies. This is a movie where you are probably gonna feel a bit uncomfortable. This is a movie where you are gonna feel a bit, you know, worried. You're gonna kind of worry for these girls. You want to know more what's going on, and especially when you see the girls, you're thinking you're gonna find out more about them, and you don't. It's just really well handled the way they did that. The editing here is very choppy, but I feel like it was supposed to be choppy, because the movie, a lot of people are going to say, oh, this movie's telling two different stories, and yeah, it is, but really the second half of this movie and the rest of the movie is supposed to be how everyone reacts to their disappearances, and the different lengths that they all go, and really, it is kind of scattered the way that's done, but that's something I really did enjoy, because it would be scattered, you know, it's supposed to be scattered, because you don't really know where the movie's going. I really did enjoy it overall. I thought that was very well handled, and the way the movie, you know, concluded as well, I thought was very surprising. I really did enjoy it. I didn't expect the movie to conclude in the way it did, but I'm very happy that it did end the way it did, because it's a very surprising film. You don't expect it to go at all in the direction it does, and I absolutely love that. But now let's get into spoilers, which there really aren't too many spoilers to talk about with this movie, because like I said, nothing's really answered, but I do want to talk about a few spoilers. So if you guys haven't seen Picnic at Hanging Rock, as usual, I'm going to put the spoiler thing right here. That's what I'm going to do from now on, is when you see the spoiler thing go away, you can finish the review, can unmute the review, then you'll be able to continue the video, and then I will be able to, you know, give my thoughts and everything, I'll give you my grade. But let's just get into spoilers because I'm going to talk about what I thought was going to happen in this movie. Now, when I saw characters like Michael and Albert, I'm like, okay, Michael's going to be the creepy stalker who's going to be stalking Miranda. This is going to be a rape case. He's going to end up raping Miranda or whatever. That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought that he was going to get so obsessed with her that he actually kidnapped her and that he was going to rape her. I thought that's what was going to happen. I'm glad that didn't happen because that would have killed the movie for me. And I'm glad that he as well didn't get answers. You know, he just ended up on the rock and he didn't get answers at all. And I like the movie concludes with none of us getting answers. You know, Miss Appleyard, she ends up on the rock. She committed suicide from it. I mean, and it makes sense when she committed suicide. I mean, having one of your own students committing suicide because of what's going on, yeah, I mean, there's not really a way you're going to get out of that. And it makes sense why she had to commit suicide. I thought that was a very well handled scene. The way the movie ended with that narrator, I mean, that gave me chills, guys. I'm not going to lie. I thought something was wrong with my TV because the TV just froze after that one scene where that guy tells her that, you know, Sarah's dead and never Sarah killed herself and everything. Miss Appleyard's reaction, that is a reaction of that's not a reaction of disappointment. That is a reaction of emptiness. That is a reaction of not knowing when to go on because she really just wanted to do the best she could to get rid of Sarah, mainly because Sarah was the one that was causing all this misery. And she thought by getting rid of Sarah, she'd be able to go on, but she can't go on. She's on the hanging rock and everything. I mean, at least that's how I interpret it. And I'm going to tell you guys again, this is not an easy movie to review. It's really not. This is a movie that you watch and then you need to watch it a couple more times. There are a lot of things here I don't fully understand, and I'm going to have to watch it a couple more times to really give you guys a clear analysis. And I want to give you some sort of analysis here. What I really think the movie's trying to say is that sometimes in life there just are no answers, and sometimes we need to accept that there are no answers, that we need to move on, and sometimes people can't move on. And Miss Appleyard is a perfect example of someone that just couldn't go on. She could not go on. She did not get the answers she wanted. No one gave her what she wanted to know, and because of that, she just died. And I think that really is, I think she really is a symbol of what this movie's really trying to say. Miss Appleyard represents, you know, someone that can't go on, someone that needs answers and just needs answers pronto and can't live without answers. She represents all those people that are binging an entire season of a Netflix show. She represents all the individuals that continually, you know, brag about this not happening or not knowing what's going on in this movie or things like that, or even not having any answers to anything. She's that, you know, girlfriend that texts on the phone and constantly, you know, asks you what you meant by this and you don't know because you honestly don't have an answer. That's exactly who Miss Appleyard is. That's the best way I can describe her, and that's really what I can say about her. I think that's really what the movie was trying to say, is that sometimes we just don't get answers that we want. I think it's really well done. It's unexpected that the case never, you know, is never solved, but I think it's really cool how the case wasn't solved. It's an unsolvable case. We don't really know the answer, and I like the movie kind of fools you. The movie, you think you're going to tell you what happened, you never find out. I think it was very well handled. I liked the way that was done, and like I said, eventually I'll have more to say. Right now, that's what I think the message of the movie was, but this could be like Birdman, where I think the movie's about one thing, and it's not about that at all. That's just kind of how I am. You know, I think, oh, the movie's about this. When I give you guys analysis, I'm never certain. I'm never certain. This is what I think the movie was trying to say. Never what I know. You know, erase your head, you guys. I know a lot of you say I'm wrong about that. That's what I think that movie is trying to say. I need to watch it a couple times, and luckily, my friend gave it to me on Blu-ray, so I can watch it now again, and maybe, you know, do another analysis when I get to watch it again. I don't know when I will, but at some point I will. But that's basically what I got from the movie. That's basically all I can say about spoilers, and for me, even though I didn't fully understand the movie, that's probably the best possible analysis and, you know, spoiler I can give you. So overall, guys, Picnic and Hang Rock is an incredible film. I absolutely love it. I've never really saw a movie quite like it before. It's very vivid, it's very different, and it, like I said, it really doesn't give you those answers that you want. But either way, it is an absolute masterpiece, and I'm definitely going to give Picnic and Hang Rock a 5 out of 5 or an A+. This movie is by far one of the best of the classic movies I've seen. It's really different, it's really weird, and it's really not for everyone. If you guys don't want to watch a movie where you don't get those answers that you want, you're not going to like this movie. You're going to be really pissed that it doesn't give you answers. You're going to be really pissed that it doesn't tell you everything you want, especially the way the movie concludes. If you guys just saw my spoiler, it really does not end in the way you think it's going to. But overall, guys, let me know what you guys thought of Picnic and Hang Rock. Love to hear your thoughts on it. I absolutely love this movie. I think it's an incredible film. Again, like I said, it's a movie you got to watch a couple more times to really understand it. But this is the best review I could possibly give for you. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie. Love to hear your thoughts on it. We'll see you guys in my next one, which will be for the season premiere of the final season of Pretty Little Liars, which I am so ready for. Apparently, it's a 2-hour premiere. I don't know. Freeform says it's 2 hours, so okay, that's really cool. But I will see you guys next week, which will be for that, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.